Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. How to send mental messages to someone. You're in the middle of an exam. You're sweating. You've forgotten the answer. Are you A, gonna panic, or B, close your eyes and smile? You've got the answer. How do you feel? Fantastic? Great. Can I get a hello there? If only it was that easy. Maybe it is. When I talk of telepathy, what comes into your mind? Probably science fiction, the X-Men, Professor X closing his eyes, reading minds. Really cool. Before 2014, many people thought telepathy was a bit on the wild side. What happened? Harvard researchers showed for the first time that brain-to-brain communication was real and it existed. 5,000 miles apart. Someone in India, a few people in France. Scientists recorded the EEG, which is the brain's electrical activity. And the electrical activity for the words hola and ciao was converted into binary. So the message was sent from India all the way to France. Once it got to France, a massive supercomputer processed the message and then used electrical stimulation to implant it in the receiver's mind, which appeared as specific flashes of light. They got the message. All of that for one message. But this was groundbreaking because it showed for the first time that telepathy could be scientifically proven. What is telepathy? Let's break down the words. Tele from the Greek, distant, pathy, pathos, feeling, a distant feeling, a distant perception, transferring thoughts from one mind to the other without physical contact. Who doesn't want to do this? So, one of the greatest scientists I always talk about is Nikola Tesla. And he said that if scientists could study non-physical phenomena, they would make more progress in 1 decade than the previous centuries of its existence. Great words. In ancient Kemet and Egypt, they were aware of telepathy. I've spoken about the 7 Hermetic principles, and the first one being mentalism. Everything is mental, and we are comprised of energy. People in the Indus Valley also recognize this. But up until 2014, many people were skeptical. Now Harvard has told you, what are you going to say about it, huh? Now I'm going to share with you what's helped me along my journey and a very simple way I send mental messages to people. It first starts with realizing thoughts create energy. Thoughts create energetic fields. Let me give you an example. Someone comes into the room with a very negative mindset, but doesn't say anything, and people in the room pick up this information. Maybe because of their body language, but sometimes even when their body language is not suspectful, they can still pick it up. The room's energy changes. Now, what if someone walks into the room with a very positive mindset but doesn't say anything, that energy can be felt, making the room more positive. I've experienced that. Probably you have too. So when I realized that thoughts not only exist within our minds, but also outside of our bodies, that was incredible. That's the big secret right there. To realize that the thoughts we have influence everything around us. Now, we go on to clearing the mind. I speak about clearing the mind, whether you do it through meditation, but to send someone a mental message, the reason why the mind must be cleared first is because, hey, there are billions of thoughts out here. So when your mind is clear, you can be more receptive to information. When the mind is cloudy, when you're distracted, you get interference. I speak about connecting with your heart space. We know that the heart is 100,000 times more powerful electrically than the brain, and 5,000 times more powerful magnetically than the brain. There are so many stories about mothers and sons. You hear a lot about these from war stories and maternal instinct. The mother knows when something has happened to her child. How does she know this when she's not there? Through telepathy, because they're both communicating. Now, quantum physicists talk about quantum entanglement, where you have two electrons and it doesn't matter how far they are apart. If something happens to one, the other one acts accordingly, just in the same way as the other one. Because space is the construct that creates the illusion of separation. In actuality, everything is connected. Many times you might have mothers who know their daughter is pregnant. Mothers seem to know everything because, take in consideration, at one point in your life, you both shared the same heart. So when you create a heart connection with someone, it is a lot easier to send them a mental message. Many of us, we don't connect with people on a heart level. Therefore, we can't send them anything. If you've ever been in love or a very intimate relationship, many people will tell you, oh, I just got a message from my partner. No phone around. Sometimes people have these premonitions. Oh, I know what's going to happen. That intuition, which is nothing mystical about it. It's just natural. It's our gift. But are the phones switched on? I realized along my journey, if you want to send someone a mental message, you can't do it unless they make the agreement. You can't do it without an invitation. So people who are in love, in the love connection, they are open to receiving mental messages. Mothers have unconditional love, in most cases, for their children. So they have this ongoing telepathy. But what happens when you are closed off from people? When you refuse to switch on both phones? Then you can't communicate, because our brains are transmitters and receivers of information. So it works like this, I've seen. If you have two mobile phones switched on, they can now call each other. But if one is switched off, hello, please leave a message after the tone. That's what happens. So when two people are vibrating at the same frequency, who are open to each other, who are waiting for each other's call, messages can be sent from a great distance. Many people talk about dream telepathy, and it's the same thing here. And lastly, I've seen you have to listen. Many times we're speaking so much. Hey, that's me. When you're silent, once again, moving more into that state of meditation, you become more receptive to thought frequencies being transmitted to you. Also, you have more power to transmit thought frequencies. And now, you realize thoughts are just like text messages. What do you want to send to me? Send it. There's a reason why neuroscience isn't being taught in schools. Because it's complex, but also it's very empowering. And I've seen once again, this can only be done through a heart connection. It can't be done through manipulation because it can only be done when you agree to it. So there you have it. Have a wonderful day and keep sending those messages. Infinite waters, diving deep. Once again, stay well, stay healthy. Peace.